It's always fun when you get to say I knew them before they made it big. And that's exactly how I feel about my friend Thomas Branch. He and I met before either of our careers really took off, and it's been an honor to get to witness and support his journey as he's made his way up into the music industry in Nashville and on the road as a touring drummer. In this video, we talk about some of his experiences, our projects together, and lessons learned along the way. I hope you enjoy listening in on my conversation with Thomas Branch, touring drummer, producer, songwriter. Okay, so today's an exciting day because I'm with Thomas Branch, and this is a big deal for me because you and I have been friends for, well, I don't know how long. When did we meet? You have any idea?
2011, right?
Really?
Yeah.
Do you remember how we met?
I'm trying to remember what the first one
Well,
was.
we did some drum covers, which I didn't know what
Right.
a drum cover was. You're like, hey, can you help me shoot a drum cover? And I'm like, a what? And
Like something you cover your
you,
drum set
you
with?
explained what a drum cover is, and I thought to myself, I don't know if I said it out loud, who would watch that? Did I ever say that out loud? No?
No, but
So-
that's so funny, actually.
Yeah, I didn't understand, but I it sounded fun enough. But also, our careers haven't taken off yet at all. So like any opportunity to be creative and create something different, fun, whatever, was worth it. And now looking back, I don't mean to brag, but that was like the most cobbled together, terrible production. You know, like
Well, yeah.
when you look back, even just 10 years, like the stages you play on, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
around the country, the stuff that I get to do now, just because of experience and connections with people and all that. Like I look back on that video shoot and I'm like, that's kind of embarrassing.
Yeah.
No, you don't feel that way? Okay, just me.
No, I do, but just in a different way. I was just looking at like what we were wearing. What were we thinking?
Yeah.
So that type of.
But at the time, man, that was pretty awesome. So from a production standpoint, I watched the shots and I'm like I did as good as I could do at the time. Right? And it's not even technical, like camera settings and stuff like that. It's just like I reused the same shot multiple times. You know what I mean? Like now, I wouldn't do that if you paid me. You know what I mean? Like I wouldn't make those same mistakes, you know?
Yeah.
But that's part of the learning process too. You know what I mean? And you got to have projects like that where you can push what you know how to do and you improve, right? Like I've said all the time, if I stop either loving what I do or just stop having that desire to get better and grow in it, then I probably don't need to do it anymore. You know, if it ever turns to autopilot, I probably need to be done.
Yeah.
And I haven't hit that point yet. Have you?
No.
Good. That's good. What have you learned in the last 10 years?
Oh, don't settle.
Okay.
Don't settle. And I guess what I mean by that is just know your self-worth, like how much you're worth as an individual, and just don't ever settle for second best to what you feel like you're called to do.
Okay. Follow-up question to that. What do you feel like obstacle-wise? Like, how can you prepare, let's just call them the next generation, right? People coming behind us that want to be musicians or production people or creative artists, whatever. What obstacles are likely going to hit you in the face? Not necessarily specific ones, but like what obstacles are coming that you need to be ready for, in your opinion?
Yeah.
And how do you handle it?
Well, just be ready for people to say no and to fail, because it will ultimately happen. It's just how you take those no's and then translate it into something bigger and keep going and not let people determine your destiny.
What are you going to keep doing? You've learned this skill or this mindset in the last 10 plus years, and you're going to keep doing that because it's been successful.
Probably just hustling. Like I'm just not afraid to work, not afraid to go out and put yourself out there, and not be for what.
No, I just want to know, like, is that the mindset of the average musician or not?
No, not at all.
Really?
And I mean this in the nicest way possible, but most musicians want the work to come to them, and they just kind of settle like, oh, I've got a gig here, I've got a gig there. But for me, that's just, I don't know. Again, that's settling, and I just want to go above and beyond and be able to do other things.
Okay.
So
What are you going to stop doing?
what am I going to stop?
Yeah. 10 years. I mean, you might have already stopped it, right? But something you're like, you know what? I found this not to be helpful.
Oh, wasting money on things that I truly don't need.
Okay.
Like, because we're in contract work, and a lot of musicians don't realize that.
Right.
And creative people don't realize that in the creative world. Hey, I'm just gonna do what I love, but at the same time, we're in a contractor space, so that next gig, that next opportunity is not promised to us.
Right.
So if you're not budgeting well, I mean, you could be in serious trouble. And I've seen a lot of musicians run into that issue before.
You know, one thing I do like about the contractor space, since you brought it up, is that I feel like contractors who hustle, believe in themselves, all the things we kind of talked about, I feel like that economy of work is actually a good thing, because we're always earning our next gig, right? So I personally will do my absolute best on this gig for the opportunity to do it again, right? Salaried people and whatever, or you know, people that have some sort of long-term commitment thing, like I feel like they don't have the same need to hustle as someone who every time they get paid could be the last time from that person who's paying them. You know, so I personally, it works for me in my personality, because I just need to, I need to kill it every time so that the next time is there.
Yeah.
Do you agree with that?
I
Is that
do
true
agree.
for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. What's your Enneagram number? Do you know?
It's a 3.
Dude, me too. So you
What's your, well, I want to know your wings too, but finish what you were
you'll probably be surprised,
Okay.
because a wing has to go on one side or the other of the thing.
Yes.
So a 3, for those who don't know, is task oriented, achievement oriented.
Yes, the performer.
They like to win.
Yes.
It's called the performer.
It's called the performer.
Right? And it's not performance like ballet, like perform like they want to do good in front of others.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And that is totally true for me. Like, I will win at any cost in front of an audience. You know? But by myself, I don't know. Like, that's actually a learning thing for me, is it's like, I don't necessarily have that same drive. And the downfall of the 3 is they shortcut in order to do that. And so I have to work sometimes to make sure that I'm not shortcutting to look good. You know? Okay, so you're a 3, which I can totally see. I mean, you're all over. I mean, you're touring with David Cook and your sessions in Nashville. Like, you're big time now. So I can see the achiever in you. What's your wing? Which way do you go? Do you go towards the romantic, or do you go towards the giver?
When I'm in the healthy mindset, I go towards the giver, which is the 2.
Yes.
But when I'm not in a healthy mindset, I go to the 4, where it's like nobody understands me. I'm just all in my feels about everything.
Yes.
Like, this isn't working out.
Yeah. Which way do you think I go?
I feel like you would be a giver.
Yeah. I don't have any romantic in me at all.
Okay.
I never wallow in no one understands me.
So, well, to go back to that question, had you said no 10 years ago, I would have been in the 4 space.
Right.
And just been like, he doesn't understand me,
Right.
and just depressed
in
my pit, as I call it. Like,
and that was me saying yes, was probably me being a 2.
yes.
You're like, yeah, I'd love to create your video, and going home, you're like, what did I just commit to?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I love the Enneagram and talking to people about it, because I feel like, just if you know the numbers, you can kind of identify with people and where they're at in a lot of different ways. So if you don't mind, just for people who don't know, like, you are a big deal. Like, I'm kind of a big deal too. But not as big deal as you, because you tour, man. I mean, you're like a touring musician with David Cook, who's American Idol, big time musician. And you play big stages. Like, talk about some of your, tell me one of the coolest things you got to do as a musician, whether it was with that band or not. Like, one of the coolest things.
One of the coolest things was probably getting to play at the Gorge Amphitheater.
Oh yeah, in Washington.
And, for those that don't know, the amphitheater sits on the edge of this gorge, like basically right behind the amphitheater. You can just look out and see it. I mean, it's just gorgeous. And so it was like sunset, and we went on and played, and then just walked off as the sun was just barely peeking over the horizon. And I literally, I don't know if you want to call this the 4 in me, but I started tearing up, just because it was such a cool moment from like working so hard to get to do that. And then I would say the second thing was probably playing the Grand Ole Opry, just because my grandparents listened to the Country Gold Saturday Night. And I mean, to be honest, I was like, what is this? I'm a rock guy. But getting to perform at the Grand Ole Opry multiple times was like really cool.
I bet it was.
Yeah.
Okay, so that brings up one of my last questions, is what do people not know about touring, right? So I would say what people don't know is that, look, it's a grind, to get there. You do the thing you came to do, and then you leave, and you never really got to enjoy that city. People think it's like this glamorous thing, right? That was what I would say, but that's coming from a production side, right? What would you say as a musician is something people don't know about touring life?
It can be difficult if you're not if you're not built for it. Because what I love to do is perform and play drums, but that's maybe 5% of the whole touring out of the, the other 95% is like, for me, I would try to book like, hey, let me do a drum clinic here or something. Or if another drummer was in that city touring as well, we would try to link up and do a drum clinic. So you don't get time to really explore. Like everybody's like, oh, it must be so cool. But literally you're in a bunk, maybe in the front lounge of a bus, on stage, back there. I mean,
you're working.
Yeah. So, and it's funny because I'll have different friends from different cities show up and they'll be like, hey, can you hang out? And I'm like, not really. Like I am working, and they won't understand it. But I will say the beauty of being able to tour is you do get to meet a lot of people. And I'm an introvert, but just getting to meet so many different stagehands and still have a connection with them after the tour via social media is super cool.
Yeah, no doubt. People is the big thing for my whole world, basically, is there's some stuff you can do on your own, but it really, the fact that you and I created video 10 years ago, right? We're talking about it now, but it was the people and the relationships that were built during those creative moments that really lasted more than even the video, right? So that's kind of one of the big things I've probably taken away out of these last 10 years. Is there's a lot I can do on my own, but it's really all the connection with all the people, treating people right along the way, because you don't know what kind of impact they're going to have on your career or you as a person.
Yeah. And that's another good point, like that I wish I could tell my younger self, like especially going into the business, is treating people right. Because it took me like a little while to grasp that. And I made mistakes along the way with not treating certain people right. And it does come back to kind of bite you if you're not careful. So that's another huge thing that I would tell like the younger generation is make sure that everybody that you encounter, like you just need to treat them with respect.
Treating people right is a big deal.